Welcome back to Money Mind Unlocked. I'm your host, Scott Blaze. Today we're exploring a powerful question that thousands ask but few act on. What should I do with my first $100? If you're just starting out, this episode is for you. Because $100 might not seem like much, but when you invest it wisely, it becomes a catalyst for long-term transformation. We're not here to chase hype. We're here to build habits, to build systems, to start with clarity and scale with confidence. That first $100 isn't about getting rich overnight. It's about planting the seed of financial independence. Let's start with a story. Marcus was 22, working part-time, juggling school, side gigs, and student loans. One day, he got his first freelance payment, $100. His instinct? Spend it. Sneakers, pizza, a weekend trip. But something stopped him. A video he saw the night before showed a graph. It was simple. If you invest $100 now and never touch it, it could become over $1 in 30 years with compound growth. Not from magic, from math. That stuck with him. So he paused. He didn't spend it. He researched, listened to podcasts, read forums, and he made a decision that most people overlook. He invested that $100. Fast forward 5 years. Marcus isn't rich, but he's consistent. That $100 wasn't the turning point because of its size. It was the turning point because of what it taught him. That money grows. That patience pays. That habits compound. So what can you do with your first $100? Let's begin with principle number 1. Knowledge is your highest return. Before you invest in stocks, crypto, or real estate, invest in understanding. Buy a book like The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins or I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Take a $20 course on Udemy about investing basics. Spend a portion of your $100 on education that demystifies the process. Because money flows to those who respect it, and respect starts with learning. Next, principle number 2. Start with what you understand. If you don't understand how something works, don't put your money there. That means no to random crypto tokens, unresearched stocks, or friends' business ideas. Let's look at practical options. Option 1. Low-cost index funds. Use platforms like Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab that allow fractional shares. With just $100, you can invest in a fund like VTI or SPY, broad market indexes that give you exposure to hundreds of companies in one move. This is like buying a slice of the entire economy instead of betting on one company. Option 2. High-yield savings or CDs. Maybe you're not ready to risk the market. That's okay. Put your $100 in a high-yield online savings account earning 4 to 5% annually. It won't make you rich, but it will teach you about liquidity, interest, and delayed gratification. Option 3. Micro-investing apps. Apps like Acorns or Stash let you invest spare change. $100 in Acorns, for example, could be allocated across ETFs automatically. It's hands-off. It's beginner-friendly. It builds the habit. Now, let's talk about the psychology. Many people think, it's just $100. What's the point? That thinking is dangerous, because it trains your mind to only act when amounts are big. But wealth is built in the small habits, not jackpots. Create freedom. That's why your first $100 matters. It sets a tone. It tells your brain, I am an investor. I take ownership. I'm building something. Think of it like going to the gym for the first time. You don't lift heavy. You don't see results instantly. But you show up. You prove to yourself you can begin. That's the real win. We'll continue shortly with more options: crypto, peer-to-peer lending, even self-investment like skills and certifications. But first, If this episode is adding value to your journey, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It helps the mission grow, and it brings more people into the financial clarity they deserve. Alright, let's keep going. Let's move forward with a critical truth. The best investment is the one that makes you better. So let's talk about investing your $100 in yourself. Let's say you spend $30 on a new skill, a course in copywriting, coding, or content creation, another $20 on a book that shifts your mindset, and the remaining $50 as seed money for your first freelance gig, a Canva Pro account, or a domain for your personal website. That's not spending, that's building an asset, because knowledge, once acquired, can't be taxed, stolen, or inflated away. It pays dividends for life. Take Jenna. She invested $100 in a course on Canva and social media design. She used it to create free templates and marketed them on Instagram. By month 3, she was making $400 a month from side clients. That original $100 was a spark, not just in income, but in confidence. That's the power of self-investment. But maybe you're thinking, I don't know what to invest in yet. Then invest in clarity. Use $10 for a coffee. Sit down in a quiet space and journal for an hour. What do I want to learn? Where do I want to grow? What's holding me back? That kind of intentional reflection, though it costs almost nothing, can generate more value than years of random action. Next, let's cover one of the riskiest, but often most tempting options, crypto. Should you invest your $100 in crypto? It depends. If you've already invested in index funds, have an emergency fund, and are treating crypto like an experiment, not a retirement plan, then yes. A small portion can be educational, but don't confuse volatility with opportunity. If you invest in Bitcoin or Ethereum, stick with reputable exchanges like Coinbase or Kraken. Never put in more than you're willing to lose. And track your emotions, not just your balance. Because in crypto, your biggest risk isn't the coin, it's your impulse. If you find yourself checking prices every 10 minutes, that's not investing, that's gambling. Now let's pivot to peer-to-peer lending. Platforms like Lending Club used to let you invest in personal loans, earning interest as borrowers repay. With $100, you could fund small parts of loans and potentially earn 5 to 8% annually. But again, risk is real, defaults happen, regulation shifts. Always read the fine print. Another overlooked option: split your $100 into multiple buckets. Try this: $40 in index funds, $30 in self-education, $20 in a high-yield savings account, $10 in a cause you believe in. Yes, donate part of your investment. Why? Because generosity rewires your brain. It shifts you from scarcity to abundance. It reminds you that money is a tool, not a scorecard. A donation, however small, aligns you with your values. And in the long run, value alignment leads to smarter decisions. Let's return to Marcus. After his initial $100 investment, he didn't stop. He made it a ritual. Every month, no matter how tight things were, he set aside at least $25. Sometimes it was just change. But he did it. 10 years later, he's not wealthy in the traditional sense, but he's wealthy in awareness. He knows where his money is, what it's doing, and why it matters. And that's rare. Most people make money emotional, but Marcus made it intentional. That's what I want for you. Let's continue this journey by digging into investment psychology, how to build discipline, avoid emotional spending, and see money as a partner, not a pressure. Let's take a moment to reflect on the emotional side of investing. When people start with $100, they often carry expectations too heavy for such a small amount. They expect magic, They expect immediate reward, but real wealth building requires emotional discipline more than financial genius. So here's your next lesson. Detach from outcomes. Attach to process. Let's say you invest $100 in the market, and after 2 weeks, it drops to $92. That feels like failure, but it's not. It's education. Because the goal isn't to double your money overnight, it's to normalize risk. Build muscle, and refine your strategy. Imagine planting a seed and yelling at it every morning for not becoming a tree fast enough. That's how most people treat investments. They overwater, they dig up the soil, they sabotage their own growth by rushing it. Instead, be the calm gardener. Invest, observe, water consistently, and trust the process. Now, let's talk about information diet. Your mind is your biggest asset. What you consume shapes how you invest. If you spend hours watching get-rich-quick videos, your brain will crave shortcuts. If you study timeless principles, you'll start to value patience. I recommend a 3-to-1 ratio. For every 1 hour of financial news, consume 3 hours of financial education. News is noise, education is signal, and when you quiet the noise, clarity rises. Now, let's talk tools. You don't need fancy platforms. You need consistency. Apps like Robinhood, Fidelity, or M1 Finance let you invest small amounts. The key is to automate it. Set a recurring deposit, $10 a week, $25 a month. Turn investing into a habit, not a decision, because the best investors aren't the smartest. They're the most consistent, and consistency is built on automation. One of my favorite frameworks is the automatic investor ladder. Step 1. Choose your platform. Step 2. Set your deposit frequency. Step 3. Pre-select your investments. Step 4. Ignore the noise for 90 days. Then review, not daily, quarterly. This rhythm trains your brain to think long-term. Speaking of long-term, let's revisit what $100 can really become. At 10% annual return, $100 becomes $259 in 10 years. That's not life-changing, but if you add $100 a month, it becomes $20.484 in 10 years. The point isn't the math, it's the mindset. Because if you build the discipline now, with $100, it'll carry into the future when you're investing $1, $10, or more. Let's also confront fear. Many people hesitate to invest because they fear losing it. That's valid, but here's a question. Is your fear based on facts or feelings? Statistically, broad market investments like S&P 500 have gone up over time, even with crashes. The longer you stay in, the lower your risk. The danger isn't the market, it's your reaction to it. So ask yourself, what's riskier, investing $100 and learning from it, or doing nothing and learning nothing? Because action brings clarity. Even if you make mistakes, you'll gain wisdom, and wisdom is the highest return of all. Now let's address a critical truth. Most people don't fail because of bad investments. They fail because of inconsistent behavior. They stop, they doubt, they delay. So let me introduce a mental framework, the $100 identity shift. When you invest your first $100 intentionally, you're not just allocating money, you're altering identity. You stop seeing yourself as a consumer and start seeing yourself as a builder. That shift is massive, because identity drives behavior. If you believe you're someone who builds wealth, you'll act accordingly. You'll study, you'll protect your time, you'll avoid impulsive spending. So this small act, investing $100, is symbolic. It tells your nervous system, we're done reacting, we're creating. Another important topic, tracking. Every investor needs a simple way to track performance. Not for obsession, but for reflection. Use a Google Sheet. Create a tab for date, amount, platform, type, and notes. Log your actions. Record your thoughts. You'll start to notice patterns when you invest with confidence. When you hesitate, what makes you feel powerful versus anxious? This journal becomes a mirror. Over time, it reveals the investor within. Let's also touch on taxes. Yes, even $100 matters. If you invest in a Roth IRA, for example, your growth is tax-free. That means when you withdraw in retirement, you pay zero tax on gains. That's huge. $100 in a Roth today might become $1 in 30 years, all yours. Platforms like Fidelity, Charles Schwab, and Vanguard offer Roth IRAs with no minimums. So yes, even $100 can open the door. Now, you might ask, what if I lose it all? Good. Yes, good. Because loss teaches what success cannot. If you lose $100 and learn emotional control, pattern recognition, or risk assessment, you've won. Every master investor has stories of failure. Early failures are tuition. They inoculate you for later stakes. Don't fear the fall. Fear never jumping. Now let's expand to community. Find a friend and share your $100 plan. Accountability multiplies impact. Maybe you both open accounts on the same day. Share resources. Compete gently. Encourage honestly. Community keeps you committed. And one last key, review monthly. Ask, did I invest this month? What did I learn? How do I feel? That monthly reflection compounds. It aligns behavior with purpose. Remember, investing isn't a one-time event. It's a rhythm, a mindset, a way of living with intention. We'll close out this episode with a recap and a message for every beginner who thinks their money is too small to matter. So here's your recap. Your first $100 is not about the money. It's about the message you send to yourself. Message 1. I care about my future. Message 2. I choose growth over comfort. Message 3. I'm becoming someone who acts, not just thinks. Whether you put that $100 into index funds, a book, a side hustle tool, or a savings account, it doesn't matter as much as how you do it. Do it with clarity, with discipline, with follow-through, because the goal isn't just to grow money, it's to grow who you are with money. Now here's a final framework I call the first $100 blueprint. Step 1. Educate, $20. Buy one book or course to understand basic investing principles. Start with compound interest, diversification, and risk management. Step 2. Allocate, $50. Invest in a broad-based index fund like VTI or SPY through a trusted brokerage. Choose automatic reinvestment if possible. Step 3. Automate, $10. Set a recurring monthly contribution, even if it's just $5. The key is to anchor the behavior. Step 4. Self-invest, $10. Buy a tool, subscribe to a newsletter, or take a micro step toward a skill that will increase your earning power. Step 5. Reflect and share, $10. Write down what you learned. Talk about it with someone. Post about it if you're comfortable. Sharing cements identity. And bonus. Review this plan in 30 days. What worked? What didn't? What surprised you? That review will do more for your confidence than any stock chart ever could. Let me leave you with this. $100 might not change your life overnight, but it will change how you see yourself. And when your identity shifts, your results follow. You'll start to make better choices not because someone told you to, but because it's who you are. You'll stop seeking permission to build wealth, and start claiming responsibility for it. That's the ultimate ROI. So today, don't just listen, act. Take that $100, digitally or physically, and allocate it with intention. Invest it in growth. Invest it in clarity. Invest it in you. Because that small step has the power to start a lifelong journey. And one day, years from now, you'll look back and realize, this was the moment it all changed. The moment you stopped waiting. The moment you started building. The moment you turned a single hundred into something far more valuable, momentum. This is Scott Blaze, and I'll see you in the next episode. Let's stretch a little deeper. You see, investing isn't just financial, it's philosophical, it's emotional, it's spiritual, even. It forces you to confront fears. It makes you ask, do I believe in delayed reward? Do I believe I'm worth betting on? And for many, that's where the real work begins. Let's talk about trust, not in the market, in yourself. When you invest your first $100, you're signaling self-trust. You're saying, I trust myself enough to grow this. I trust my ability to learn, to adapt, to stay the course. Most people avoid investing not because they don't understand the market, but because they don't yet trust themselves with money. So how do you build that trust? Start small, stay consistent, celebrate progress. Every time you invest, no matter how little, you're rewriting the story. You're no longer the spender, the avoider, the anxious budgeter. You're the investor, the builder, the one who plans ahead. Now, here's a challenge. Open a new account today, Roth IRA, brokerage, savings, whatever fits your path. Fund it with just $5. That's it. Then journal how it felt. Not what you bought, but what it changed inside. Because investing isn't about beating the market. It's about becoming the kind of person who no longer lives at the mercy of the market, or the next sale, or the next paycheck. It's about sovereignty, about dignity, and yes, about peace. And let's not forget community. Share this journey with others. Start a $100 investment challenge with friends. Each person decides their strategy, shares monthly reflections, and keeps one another accountable. Imagine 10 people all starting with just $100. In a year, you'd have not only grown your money, but your mindset, your network, your discipline. That's real ROI. And now, the last thing I'll leave you with. When in doubt, invest in what makes you feel proud 10 years from now. That might be a stock, a skill, a memory, a mission. Let every dollar reflect the future you desire, not the dopamine you crave. Because money moves fast, but legacy is slow, and $100 is a beautiful beginning. Thanks for staying with me to the end. Until next time, think long, act small, grow always. So here's your final reminder. Your first $100 is more than just money. It's momentum. It's proof that you've stopped waiting for permission and started taking ownership. It's not about how much you have. It's about how you use it. Build habits. Track emotions. Celebrate progress. You've taken your first step. And one day, this first $100 will become the story you tell others when they ask how it all started. Go build that story, brick by brick, dollar by dollar, because the future belongs to those who begin. And if you're still wondering whether it's worth it, let me say this: the greatest shifts in your life won't come from massive windfalls. They come from small, consistent acts that align with your future self. That $100 is not a test of your financial power. It's a test of your emotional commitment. What you choose to do with it reflects how you see your time, your energy, your future. You could spend it and feel a burst of joy, or you could invest it and feel a lifetime of strength. Because every time you invest, you're saying, I believe in tomorrow, I believe in me. Let that be your North Star. Let that guide every financial decision from now on. And if you ever get lost, come back to this truth. You are not powerless. You are not too late. You are not behind. You're right on time. And $100 is all you need to start. So today, if you've been sitting on the edge, unsure of what to do with that first $100, let this be your sign. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for more money. Start where you are, with what you have, and let the act of investing shape your next step. Because money is a mirror. It reflects your values, your fears, and your hopes. When you invest with intention, you're not just making a financial decision, you're making a declaration. I'm in charge now. I lead this story. So invest boldly, learn constantly, grow patiently, and always bet on your future self. This has been Money Mind Unlocked. I'm Scott Blaze. See you next time. The path to financial freedom doesn't begin with a lottery win or a six-figure salary. It begins with ownership, with belief, with one small, deliberate step in the right direction. That first $100 is yours. Use it wisely, and watch how it changes not just your wallet, but your world.